Yo, what's going on, PLC podcast listeners? We have 2 weeks to go in season 9. Can you freaking believe it? This is the round 3 of the playoffs. This is semifinals of the playoffs, and we've got 4 players left. So this episode, we're going to talk about the round 2 matchups, where we had 4 matchups being played. We're going to talk about and make picks for the 2 remaining matchups. And then we're just going to have some fun, just talk about, some PLC history, talk about what a win here would mean for a couple players, what a win there would mean for the other players. So it's just a good time. You know what to expect with the PLC pod. It's going to be fun. This is a shorter episode because we only have just a couple matches to talk through. So we hope you enjoy. And we will see you guys in the episode, and we will see you in chat. Peace. All right, PLC podcast. We are back with another week of the PLC podcast. Jay, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. Just a little tired, but we're okay. You know what I mean?
No, fair. It's that time of night. Get a little sleepy.
Mhm.
That time of season, we get a little fatigued. It's all good. I get it.
Mhm.
But no, Jay and I are here. This is the week of round 3 or semifinals, and we are down to the final 4. Jay, you are a part of that final 4. How do you feel?
Yes, sir. I feel good, man. As we'll get into it in a couple seconds. Very hard fought set. Probably one of the hardest sets I think I've had to play and prep for. In my PLC PLC slash Pokemon competitive career. And again, man, it was just really dope set. Just happy to be in that top 4 position.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It is exciting to see you here, to have you, doing content all year and then be right here. It's just super exciting to see. You love to see it. So
Thank you.
absolutely. So I mean, we can just jump right in. It's gonna be a shorter episode today because we have 4 matches to talk about from last week, and then we have 2 matches to make picks for this week. So it's gonna be kind of quick. Last week was pretty quick, and I expect this week to be a little quicker than that too. So without wasting too much time or without further delay, let's jump right in. So last week was round 2 of the playoffs. It was the first time that we were seeing the top 4 back in action. And the first matchup of the week was Aris taking on Brendan, which was a rematch of season 8 finals. So that was a super hyped match. And oh wait, hold on. I do need my notes because I need to tell us what we picked. Okay. So Jay, you called Brendan winning by 3. I called
Mhm.
Aris winning by 3, and Aris takes the dub, but by 2 games to 0. So I get the correct call. Jay, unfortunately, you missed that call. But Aris does, we said it was going to be a hard fought match for Brendan. He, was maybe going in with some unfinished business from last season, but Aris cleans
Mhm.
up 2-0. Jay, what do you
Yeah,
think about
man.
that match? Yeah.
I thought it was a dope set. I think the first match was a little bit one-sided. To be fair, then again, I don't think anyone really expects weakness policy Dragapult with the gyro ball electrode. That's pretty cool. And then just the Reese kind of just maintained that advantage he had in the match, even though the Dragapult again didn't get too many kills, but again, just being able to put out so much damage with the Dragon Dart, especially after getting that +2 special attack boost, I thought that was pretty sick. The second match I think was a little bit closer as well. I think that just came down to and for a second I almost thought with the Terra Ice and the Ninetales that Brendan would have been able to bring it back. But then forgot that the weather goes last. Tyranitar came in, which was able to kind of clean up and end that set right there. But um, can't be mad at it again. Reese is a 4-time champion for a reason. I think he should be thanking me because every time I vote against the Reese, he always wins. So I feel like I played a big part in his victory as well. So I'll pat myself on the back for that.
Take a
To
little
be honest with
credit.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to brag. As for Brendan, just uh, fortunate end to the season. Uh, we spoke a little bit, I think, a couple weeks ago, just about how he kind of ended the season, but just being able to kind of bring himself back, win that set in the beginning against Jay Wade, who's a very tough competitor. I think he should. hold his head high for that. And hopefully we'll have him back next year for season 10. But good stuff by Reese as he moves on to a very familiar spot in the top four.
Yep. No, for sure. Absolutely. And Brendan, he's had a couple of good years where it's just like playoffs after playoffs after playoffs, deep playoff runs. So yeah, I hope he is coming back next year, and I'm excited to see what he does. So good stuff, y'all.
Yes, sir. Next up, we have Ian going against Mike Jordan. This was a match that I think we both said numerous times last pod. This is a good matchup. It was really a toss-up. I believe we kind of split it to make things a little bit interesting. You chose Mike by 3. I chose Ian by 3. Mike is able to pull out the win with a 2-0 scoreline right here, giving you the correct call. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I think you
I
have it
said
backwards.
Mike by
Yep.
3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I said Mike by 3 because, Team Young Bucks. And then you said Ian by 3. And then Mike was able to put out the 2-0. So I get the correct call. You get the incorrect call, unfortunately. So now we're tied up. We're back 2-2. Jordan, is there anything you remember about the set that you wanted to point out at all? Any comments on how you felt about this?
um, Jay, I don't watch the matches.
Don't worry, I'll speak to it a
No, wait,
little
hold on.
bit.
But I will say. So I wanted to say that's kind of a funny, just a funny running thing with the podcast. Like I don't really see the matches like that, but I did watch stream last week. So you will be proud to hear that I did watch the stream, but you will be disappointed to hear that I don't remember a thing.
It's okay, Jordan. That's why I'm here.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
mean, you're busy. You're busy. I get you. But I think this was a. I think Mike played the set very well. Um, for Ian, I think he also played. It's it's tough when you kind of like the worst thing for me in Pokemon is when you think you make a good switch
Hmm.
and then you end up, let's say something takes a big hit or it gets like below 50% HP. At that point, you're already kind of on the back foot pedaling because
Yeah.
usually you want to make the switch in order to kind of shift the momentum in your favor, whether it just be like activating an item, not taking a resisted hit, taking a almost not effective hit. When I say not effective, I mean let's say switching in a flying type on high horsepower, for example, right?
Right, right.
I feel like there was numerous times in that set where I feel like Ian like made a very unfortunate switch. The ones that come to mind was the thunderous kick, I believe, on the what's this Pokemon called? The salt one. I totally
Oh,
uh
Garganackle.
Garganackle, and I
Yep.
believe also the expanding force from the Armor Rouge at one point got him too. I think Politoed maybe got a couple hits as well. So it's really hard when you're kind of just on the back foot the entire game. But again, things like that happen. This is just things that we grow, we learn from. I don't think the score really reflects. I think the first game was a little bit of a wash. Second game was a little bit closer. I don't think this really reflects like how close maybe it could have been. But again, props to Mike for being able to pull out a very solid win in that series, and I'm sure we'll see him back next year. I'm sure he's gonna be thinking about that playoff. I don't want to say loss, but the playoff loss for a little bit. But I know he's gonna come back stronger.
Right. And I think this is just this set in particular is really cool to see now because it's something that as I was looking through the matchups last week, it's like, oh, Ian and Mike, this is freaking ridiculous. This matchup is spectacular, right? But it's not really
Hmm.
one that has a lot of history. So this is just one for the history books, one for that potential rivalry. And it'll be interesting to see how, let's say we go into season 10 and they match up well and they see each other in playoffs again. It's just I could very
Hmm.
easily see that happening. So it's cool to see this matchup taking place now. Um, just because of the future implications that it could mean. So
Hmm.
kind of cool. Kind
Yeah,
of
man.
cool.
The script is there.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. So good stuff, Mike. Moving on. So we will talk about that matchup in just a few, that future matchup or the semifinal matchup. But moving on to the rest of the round two matches. The third is the battle for Maryland supremacy. We have Dan Bryan and Dan. Um, Bryan coming off an amazing regular season. I think he was 10-2 this year, so he had a really great year. And Dan, we know that Dan, I think Dan may actually have two, I don't know about three, but maybe like one or two off-season titles. And he's always historically a pretty difficult player to match up with. He's a great player,
Hmm.
a great Pokemon mind. Um,
Right.
So, Jay, you called Dan Bryan winning by 3 game or 2 games to one. I called Dan winning 2 games to one, and Dan does win. So Dan is advancing to round three, the semifinals. Um, I get the correct call. Dan did actually win by 2 games to one, so I get the perfect call. And then, unfortunately, Jay, by calling Dan Bryan, that means you missed that call. Sorry.
See, this is why identity theft is not a joke. Not a joke at all, man.
You called the wrong Danny, unfortunately, and we didn't see this one,
hmm
so I'm not sure if you have any insight to the match. But is there anything you want to speak to
Um,
with this one?
not at all. Again, this is one we didn't get recorded. I'm not really sure what happened. I didn't really get to look at the teams either, to be honest with you, because I probably wasn't paying attention, to be honest. But again, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Dan, someone you got to prep for. Definitely has a great Pokemon mind. We know the season that Brian just had as well. Very solid on his part, being able to come in. You know what I mean? Just do his thing. And I think he had a great season. So for Dan to be able to take that from him, especially coming in as a lower seed, I think that's pretty sick of him to do, honestly.
Right. No, I agree. The number 7 seed, which is it's cool to see him have a good run. So, and I'm going through Facebook real quick. I'll just kind of, just so we can speak to it a tiny bit. Oh my gosh, both trainers. It says Danny for both of them. Never mind. Let's just move on.
hmm you
Jay,
can
go
kind of
ahead.
you
Yeah,
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 you can kind of tell the difference with themes. Like I'm seeing a lot of Focus Sash, Iron Valiant, and
yeah.
then that's very interesting. Clear Amulet on the Roaring Moon, also very interesting as well. Some Klefki shenanigans. Uh, Toy Scarf on the Indeed email. Pretty cool, pretty cool.
That's funny. I looked at it. I said, Danny. Okay, I give up.
Yeah.
Just moving on.
That's all I got though. That's all I got.
Yeah,
Everything
right,
else
right.
I'm not too sure about.
That's funny. All right, so that was your third matchup for the week. So
Yes,
Jay, go ahead and
sir.
tackle the last one. This is one I'm sure you can
Yeah,
speak
man. This is the one, it's the main event. Which I think we were
to.
kind of hyping up last week. Myself going against Zach. I put the cleaner moniker back on for playoffs just because no, I like being Jay Shayna Ray's number two, but the cleaner just feels better. It just feels better. Like it just I don't know.
It's just natural.
Um, Exactly. And again, this was a again I faced Zach. I feel like almost every single week. Like last year, I faced Zach in playoffs. Took a break. Year before that, I faced Zach in playoffs. Season two, faced Zach in playoffs. So it's a lot of matches. You think about it
And
against one
then
person.
the season 6 finals. I'm looking at it here. That was
Yeah.
when you guys met in finals, and Zach did unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. Fortunately for him, unfortunately for you, he did come out on top in that matchup too. So
Yeah, man. It's a lot of matches just off the top of my head. That's already six I can think of right there.
yeah.
Um,
And Jay, I want to
including.
say one more thing too.
hmm
In the PLC history tab. I freaking love this spreadsheet. Now I didn't. I think you mentioned it last week because you mentioned all the different matchups you guys had to that point.
hmm
I didn't want to say this straight up, but I will say it comfortably now. The spreadsheet is updated. The PLC history spreadsheet is updated through season 7, regular season and playoffs. And so you guys, I think season 8, we still need to update. So that's when you guys did match up again. But
hmm
through season 7, Zach had beat you in playoffs 6 times to your
Jesus
one
Christ.
game. You beat him
Jesus
once. So
Christ.
I didn't want to say that last week, but I think we can say that
Nah,
now.
that's gross, bro. And
Right.
the one win I'm 95% sure is from season two,
Oh man.
game two, season two as well. So
Oh
again,
man.
it's it was a long time coming, man. It was also was a long like it's been a very long time. And again, I'm sure it's not gonna be the last game, last set that we'll play. I called myself by three because I knew Zach was gonna get hit no matter what. Jordan, you thought I was gonna bust his ass. In our words, and you said I'm winning by two. I did pull out the the 2-1 score line, giving myself the perfect call because Lord knows I need it, and giving you the correct call. Thank you for having faith in me as well.
You know it. You know it. Good stuff, dude. That was
Thank you, man.
yeah, that was a
Mhm.
match that we had kind of spoken about it, just talking through some team stuff,
Mhm.
and you went into that match pretty confident. I feel like you had a game
Yeah.
plan, which was cool, but you did amazing, dude. Like props to you, Zach. I think everybody that played this year can agree with the fact that like prepping for Zach is like, all right, I just want to keep it close. I'm probably going to lose, but let's
Mhm.
just try these things and see what happens. If I can put myself in an advantageous position, who knows? That's kind of like how, I mean, maybe it's not fair to say that that's how people
Mhm.
think going into that matchup, but I mean, that's just the reality of playing someone with, Zach is really good at Pokemon. Zach's got a really good team. And so it's just like everybody knows you got to be on your P's and Q's. And dude, you freaking like, I'm not going to say you did the impossible, but coming out of that matchup, wow, props to you. Big stuff.
Thank you, man. I think I mean you were there like during the prepping process that we'll kind of get into. Uh, it was a lot. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot, and I think at one point we were just like there's nothing else we can really do. You know what I mean? Like at this point, it's just like we're going through. There's so many things. Like I think we were just like nah, like F it at one point. And I think the biggest thing, and I think what I'm really like happy about the winning this time around, is just I didn't change anything. If that makes sense. So the one I made one change across that those three matches. Those are in total 18 Pokemon. I stayed with 17 of those 18 Pokemon, only making one change, and that
Mhm.
well, technically six is the same. But that's just swapping out Clefairy. I mean Sneasler for Clefairy for the last game. Me and you had spoken. We did have like a rain kind of center team for game two, but personally, I just felt like it wouldn't really work. I felt like he had too much priority for me to even do anything. Grassy Glide, Thunderclap, Ditto was gonna be running amok as well. So I was just like, I just really didn't feel comfortable with it, and I just felt comfortable with with kind of what we came up with and just piloting that. Something that I've kind of really, I don't want to say mastered because I don't want to sound conceited, but it's kind of something that I've grown really adept to and kind of piloting that team. So I think that game one, I think I targeted really well. Very scary at the end right there. That Hariyama was starting to take bodies. Game two was also a very close set. That's one that if I totally forgot about Armor Tail. I think maybe that could have been a little bit closer on my end. Game three was probably I think the best game of Pokemon I think I've ever played. I'm not being sarcastic when I say that. I think the Helping Hand Kowtow Cleave was probably one of the best plays I think I'll ever make in PLC history.
There we
Because
go.
without that Helping Hand, I honest that it like I counted it, it wouldn't have killed that giraffe, and I would have taken big damage from the from what because Clefairy died that turn. I wouldn't if I didn't take out that giraffe, I wouldn't be able to Sucker Punch to kill the Ditto the next turn. Well, put damage on the Ditto, kill it with our Charlotte on the next turn. So I think that's probably like a turn that I'll probably won't forget for a long time. Again, man, just props to Zach. Zach's someone who probably almost every week I go to ask for advice. He has a great Pokemon mind. He's done so much for me in terms of like my growth and just competitive Pokemon as well. So he's gonna get his back. I'm pretty sure. Next season, 2 seasons later, who knows? He's definitely gonna get revenge. But I think this one was long time coming, man. 1-6 now. We're 3-7. Now we can say we got one off him. You know what I mean? One set
Right.
off him, thankfully. But again, props to him and just the team he built because that team was fantastic and it was such a pain in the ass to prep for.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's very fair to say. And yeah, no, he put up a good fight, but you came out on top, which is cool. And what's really cool is like I like the idea of the rivalry matches now because it's like we know that you guys have a rivalry, and now
Mhm.
like it's solidified as the RNG. You know what I mean? So it's like it's cool that like again, I was speaking to Ian and Mike having this history developing, and in order to get to rivalry status, you've got to have these historical matches, these historical matchups, right? And you guys have that, and then to see you guys throw down in playoffs, and it goes to the game, game three.
Mm-hmm.
It really takes those helping hand plays to pick up those KOs. That stuff is really cool. So I'm super excited to see how it all played out, knowing the history that you guys have. So, now good stuff, Jay. Congrats to you. Props to
Thank
Zach for
you.
having a great season, and good stuff, y'all. And that is round two. Jay, anything you want to say to the people before moving on about round two, about the season, anything like that?
Um, dope, man. It's good to see. The four matchups, got three of them recorded. That was pretty cool to see. For this next round, we should have all matches recorded as well. It's just nice to see everyone, just everyone's team, especially seeing the top four back in action again. Even though some people may have taken the loss, it's still nice to see what they're able to cook up with the teams and the additions they made towards the end of the season right there. So again, man, just good stuff on them. People who unfortunately fell this week, congrats on finishing the season. First and foremost, it's not easy to do this for 12 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
uh, especially, we have some people international, we have people with like crazy job schedules, we have people with families. Just being able to stay dedicated, stay on top of it, just good stuff, honestly. And I'm again just excited for me personally. I'm excited to see how the rest of these playoffs unfold. Still in the race, you know what I mean? Still in the race. Hopefully we, you know, maybe pull out the W this round.
No, for sure. No, I know you're going to prep. I know you're going to go in with a game plan. So I'm excited for you, as well as the other three players in the top four. So, nah, good stuff, Jay. Very
Thank
kind
you.
words. And yeah, we're super excited. And I guess the only other thing we need to do before we do move on is, Jay, this week your calls were 2-2. Mine were 3 and
Hmm.
1. You are 5-3 overall through the playoffs. I'm 7-1 through the
Oof.
playoffs right now.
Nice,
So
nice.
you had a perfect call this week. I had a perfect call this week. So you've got 2 overall. I've got 4 overall. So those are your playoff standings to this point, regarding the calls.
Nice.
So good stuff. All right. So, Jay, semifinals. We have
Hmm.
2 weeks to go in the not regular season, but in the season in general. In season 9, we have 2 weeks to go. Semifinals this week, finals next week. We got 2 matchups. You were involved in one of them, and the
Hmm.
other one is a rivalry matchup.
Hmm.
So we've got some good stuff. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
Jay, let's hop in. I will introduce the first. I'll let
Hmm.
you speak to it. You will introduce the second, and I will speak to it. And this is going to be cool. So, semifinals, the first match. I feel like we need a drum roll or something.
For real.
The first match of semifinals is Reese and Mike.
Bum bum
Reese,
bum.
right? Reese and Mike are brothers. They have a rivalry matchup, fittingly called the Battle of the Brothers.
Yes, sir.
They are both season one OGs, so PLC OGs. They've matched up in playoffs. Actually, I don't think they've matched up in playoffs much, or maybe they knock each other out of playoffs. That's what I want to say. Um, so they never like get to the what is it? Hold on, let me pull up the history tab. Let's just glance at that really quickly. Again, it's only
Hmm.
updated through season 7, so that's not spectacular. But no, they've played it a few times in playoffs. Mike has 2 wins. Reese has 4. So yeah. But the big thing here is they are brothers. They are OGs. They are both really good, and we are in store for a treat of a match
Hmm.
this week. Jay, how do you feel about this matchup? What do you want to say about this matchup?
This is a good matchup right here, man. There's a lot of nice synergy on both these teams. Look at Mike's team, and I see just again the the paradoxes, Iron Leaves, Iron Hands. You know what I mean? That Pincurchin on the side for that electric terrain. He ran the Indeedee Armor Rouge to great effect with the psychic terrain against Ian. Gastron also played a very big part in that matchup as well did Haxorus too. Reese has a nice sand core over there with some trick room support, and a lot of the things he has hit super hard under trick room as well. He also has very fast support. He has two of the fastest Pokemon in the entire meta with Electrode and Dragapult. I'd say of the current Pokemon that are still on these top four teams, he definitely has the those two are the fastest by far. Um, this is a tough matchup, bro. This is a cause these teams are so stacked. Like they're just like amazingly stacked.
Yeah.
I personally,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know, man. If it was up to me, like and I think Aris shares sentiment too. I think we all can share sentiment. I personally would want to see Mike in finals, just because me and same age, kind of things like that. I think it'd be a pretty nice, cool thing if I get past Dan. Um, I think Mike is gonna win, and I think Mike is gonna win in 3 games. I think this is kind of going to be
Ooh.
that getting over the hump moment for him. I think he's faced Reeves in playoffs numerous times, but not numerous times. He's faced him before, and I think Reeves has been able to pull it out every time. So I think this is kind of going to be his getting over the hill moment, as some might say, and I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty sick, honestly. So I have Mike winning in 3 games.
No, I've got you locked in. And thank you for covering the teams. That I mean, that's really both the teams are stacked, and Mike has freaking Iron Hands, right? Iron Hands is
Mhm.
such a freaking tank of a Pokemon. It's just disgusting.
Mhm.
But I was going back through just the past seasons. I was curious, like when have they matched up, right? So in
Right.
season two, Aris had won season one. Season two was our first season of double battles, and they played in essentially semifinals. We didn't necessarily, have it noted to be semifinals back then, but they played in semifinals. Aris did win and move on to finals, where he won his second consecutive or second championship. I guess it was consecutive, but that was back in season two. In season four, they played in what ultimately was semifinals again, and Aris won that, where he became a three-time champion. So wow, big stuff
Mhm.
going down here. I was actually on season five. Let's pull this up real quick. Season five, that was my season, which was pretty cool. Aris did not play Mike, so that means season six or season seven. Season six, Mike did not play Aris so that leaves season seven, correct? Because I think Mike took a break last year.
Yes.
Yeah, so that means season seven is when they threw down, and nope, I'm tripping. When did what the freaking heck? I can't find the freaking matchup. Because Mike made it out of play-ins, but Mike played me. What the freaking heck? I don't know. I don't know where it's at. So it's all good. I'm sure we could find the matchup if we tracked it down hard enough, or that
Mhm.
means the history tab is inaccurate, which would not be cool. But I don't think that's the case. I take
Yes,
pretty
sir.
good care of that. So, no, it's just exciting to see. So they've matched up before. This is the battle of the brothers. They're both great players, and Aris has historically come out on top. But again, Mike is talented. So I think that I'm gonna go just to make things interesting. I think Aris
Mm.
wins in 3 games.
Ooh. Mm.
So I think that happens. Let me note that. Okay. I've got it locked in, and I'm excited to see the outcome. We haven't seen any posts. We haven't seen any chatter yet, so I don't think it's taken place just
Not
yet.
yet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're still in store for those results. So it's gonna be exciting when those finally come in. All right, Jay, take it away.
Yeah, man, we have myself going against Dan, our second semifinals matchup. Dan's team got a lot scarier. At the end of the season, he swapped out his elements, upgraded to the Roaring Moon. Nice little upgrade right there. The Metagross is a problem. The Arcanine's also gonna be pretty nice for him too. I think he has a great support system on his team. He has Drifblim, he has Gliscor, Klefki, Electabuzz, Gothitelle. I think is a really underrated pickup. Something that I myself was looking at, and a lot of his things, man, they hit very decently hard, and a lot of them are very bulky as well. Um, I think again, this is probably one of my favorite teams that I've created, and I definitely think it has a lot of potential. I do think this can possibly be a championship winning team as well. Of course, I'm gonna pick myself. I'm gonna pick myself in 3 games. as well. I think Dan's a great competitor. So it's going to be very interesting to see how our teams match up. Did see this team relatively recent, I think second to last week before we ended, but this is not the same team that I faced by far as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see some of the changes that he's made too.
No, for sure. So Dan's team is scary. So it's been. I'm just kind of glancing at it now too. He's got the psychic terrain, which is fun, and
Mm-hmm.
your team is scary as well. So I mean, it's gonna be a good time. You guys are both gonna prep and go in with a game plan. I think it's just a matter of who can execute. Who can see what the other player is gonna do, um, pre-match and then during the match with the six that are brought. So I mean, it's really. I'm not gonna sit here and just praise you entirely and say, oh, you've got this. It's no problem. It's your game to lose. No, this is basically a
Mm-hmm.
game that I could see either player coming out on top, and it's just a matter of putting the time in to prep and coming up with a game plan that ultimately gets you the dub. So I think you both are capable, um, and I'm excited to see how this match plays out too. This is just going to be a great time. I know you guys haven't thrown down to this point, and I'm excited to again see those posts when they go live, see how it plays out, and kind
Mm-hmm.
of what happens once we get the chat going and people start talking, and it's gonna be exciting. I can't wait. So,
Yes, sir.
oh Jay, I'm gonna just no. Oh, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I keep things interesting and go Dan or if I go with you. um.
Whatever your heart feels, bro.
All right, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go with you in 3 games, bro.
Oh, stop. The Jordan buff is crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I gotta go with you in 3 games. Oh wait, I gotta fix my note. I hate my handwriting on this. Okay, Jay in 3 games. Dan, that's
Thank
no
you.
slight to you. If you hear this, we appreciate it. First of all, thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
But second of all, again, I feel like this is a matchup where I could see either player winning. Um, but I gotta go with my co-host. So Jay, I got you in 3 games, getting to finals, and I'm freaking hyped, dude. This is freaking awesome. So good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So Jay,
Mm-hmm.
that's our picks. I told everyone in the beginning of the pod it's gonna be a short podcast this week. Is there anything you want to say about round three or semifinals, about the
No.
season, about playoffs, about
Mm-hmm.
anything like that before we conclude?
Nah, man. Just good luck to everybody still there. Again, we're recording this Wednesday evening. It is currently about to be 11 o'clock, as the time that I'm speaking currently. Still no post from Arisa and Mike. I remember the guys on stream said that they're gonna get that early. Still not yet. Me and Dan should be facing off, I think, on Friday evening. I'm not 100%. You Friday evening. Yeah, I just confirmed with him yesterday.
Oh, good
So
stuff.
again, just good luck to everybody still involved as well, man, and just just have fun. That's all I can really say. I know that sounds very very cliche, um, but I will say like I don't know, it, I'm not like as about like playoffs I've been in the past personally. And I think it's been very helpful. I feel like I got to play with a little bit more like enjoying myself is what I'm saying. So
Mm-hmm.
doing things like that. I remember when I got the kill on the Frigoraph. I like pumped my fist up like I was a tennis player in the
Hey,
in the in the U.S. Open.
there we go.
So again, just just like have fun with it, and then of course prep well, and just remember, man, yeah, you get 2 chances, possibly three. So again, just if one thing goes wrong, just try to adjust and just go at it again. Don't give up. That's the one thing I'll just say. Don't give up after one game.
Yeah, no, that's very good sentiment. Very uh, kind words from a competitor who's still in it, giving kind words to his fellow competitors that are still fighting for their championship, um, their season 9 championship. It's exciting. I know I've said that so many times. It's exciting. It's exciting. It really is though. It's exciting because one of
Hmm.
these 4 players is going to win a championship this year. Aris could win his 5th championship.
We played 9 seasons. That's, well, if we at the end of this, we play 10 seasons. He's won half of them.
Jeez, goodness, that's insane.
Hmm.
Well,
Possibly
yeah. So
one. We'll win half
right,
of them.
right. if he wins this, he'll be fighting for that possibility. But if he loses, we're gonna be, there's gonna
Guaranteed new
be
champ.
exactly someone is gonna be joining the ranks, which is freaking
Hmm.
awesome to see. So whatever happens, this is just gonna be it's such a crucial week for these four players. It's such an exciting week for the rest of us who really enjoy, being in the PLC. Which I mean, to be fair, I feel like we all have a good time. Um, just chatting, just laughing, just competing, just it's a good time. The PLC's awesome. So it's just gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. I'll say it again.
Hmm.
But no, that's all for this week. It is a short episode. Um, if you made it this far, we appreciate it. Again, thank you guys for
Hmm.
just letting us know that you're listening and enjoying the pod. We appreciate that more than you know. But Jay, anything before we sign off?
Nah, man, just you know, PLC cookout, July
Right.
13th. Be
Yes.
there or be square. As
Exactly.
of technically, that'll be a little over a month and maybe 3 weeks from now. From what it looks like in the chat, in the Discord, feels like everything looks official. But just know if you can make it there, it'll be pretty cool. It'll be
Right.
nice.
Right.
Reese has volunteered himself as the grill master. Um, from what I've been seeing, I trust him to make Pokemon sets. I'll trust him to make some fantastic burgers, maybe some hot dogs in there as well. So yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
No, I'm glad you said that because it did look like that was pretty concrete. But we need to confirm with
Hmm.
everyone who's at least interested and make sure we can make that happen. We've talked about a cookout for the longest time. Let's go ahead and
Yeah,
knock it
man.
out, guys. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm like, we can't just link once every year. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. It'll be
Hmm.
cool too. Like at the end of the season, that could be like the trophy presentation too. We got to do that. That's freaking awesome.
Hmm.
But yes, PLC Cookout, July 13th. That's Saturday. Potentially Freedom Park in Charlotte. So hopefully we can see
Hmm.
everyone there. That'd be freaking sweet.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so that's all for the semifinal podcast. Thank you guys again for listening, and we will see you guys in chat. Peace.
Hmm. Peace.